So why should you even read this or want to read this book in the first place? Because I strongly believe the more that you learn, the more likely in the future that your decisions will be better. And so in this case, it means you'll be more likely to come across an 100 bagger, also more likely to invest in that 100 bagger. Okay, so proof that I actually have the book, here it is right here by Christopher Mayer. The book name is 100 Baggers. It's by the author Christopher Mayer. It's an amazing person, amazing author, an amazing book. Also, it's about 192 pages long, so not really long at all when you compare other investment books such as security analysis. Okay, so who is this book for? This book is for an investor or someone who wants to become an investor or just anyone who wants to learn more. This book talks about stocks and investing, but it's really applicable to all different situations if you're trying to grow your resources and investing in, especially in public markets such as the stock market. So I think that's who this book is for. Now, how much does this book cost? Well, it costs $9.99 as a paperback on Amazon.com. I'm going to try and see if I can get a picture of it on the screen really quickly. Okay, there it is. As you can see, it's by Christopher W. Mayer, and that is how much it costs on Amazon, which, you know, of course, is like the cheapest place most likely. Okay, so if I were to rate this book, I would give it a 5 out of 5 stars. Not because it's my favorite book, but because it just has so much valuable information. I think it's probably one of the best books out there on the market that teaches you how or characteristics of great companies, which helps you learn how to find those great public companies or private companies that are going to do really successful and give you outsized returns in the market. And therefore, that reason, which is what the book was supposed to be about, according to the title, according to a lot of reviews, I give it a 5 out of 5 because it delivered on what it said it was, and it just really impressed me, and I think it's going to help me in the future. So therefore, I do give it a 5 out of 5. So the next part of the video, I'm going to give you the book summary. It's going to give you some of the most valuable information I got from this book, which there was a lot of. So first, I'll give you the book summary, like what the book is about in like a sentence or two. Second, I'm going to tell you how it's different from a previous book that was kind of like this, an older version that had about the same information, and then why this one is better, probably why you want to get this book. And then third, like I said, I'm going to give you the most useful information that I found in this book, and I'm going to give you the page numbers as. Hey guys, yes, I had to throw in one quick plugin. Don't forget to check out the useful tools link below in the description of this video. Yes, I use it for free, and you can as well. They'll be linked below in the description. Some of them are referral links. Some of them are regular links. I don't really care. If I find it useful, and if I use it, then I'm going to share it with you. I'm sticking with that model, so useful tools will be in the description. Thanks so much. With that being said, let's get back into the video. So the main idea of the book 100 Baggers is to know how such returns have happened and what investors need to do to get them. The main difference between this book and Felt's book was because Felt's book was a study of 100 baggers from 1932 to 1971. It is not a study of every 100 bagger because he properly limited his study to cut out the tiniest of stocks. Okay, now let's get into my favorite pieces of information from this book with the page number right behind it. So first off, bear market smoke gets in one's eyes, he said, and it blinds us to buying opportunities if we're too intent on market timing. Page 4. One of the basic rules of investing is never, if you can help it, take an investment action for a non-investment reason. Page 6. Phelps wrote as much. Just a slight change in a golfer's grip and stance may improve his game, so a little more emphasis on buying for keeps, a little more determination not to be tempted to sell may fatten your portfolio. Page 6. Alice in Wonderland, one had to run fast in order to stand still. In the stock market, the evidence suggests one who buys right must stand still in order to run fast. It is superb advice. Page 7. Stick to the original theme, and if it's intact, just hold on. That one doesn't have a page number behind it because it was a paraphrase of pieces of information in the book. So ones that are like that are just paraphrased pieces of information in the book. Good ideas usually have simple beginnings. It's the very simplicity of the concept that makes them ultimately successful. Page 19. If you do give your stocks time to marinate, the results can be mind-blowing. Page 28. You must pick a compelling story or leader or country and you must use money you can afford to lose because you must be willing to risk it all of it. Page 30. The most powerful stocks stock moves tended to be during extended periods of growing earnings accompanied by an expansion of the P/E ratio, page 32. And they basically say the same thing, where they say these periods of P expansion often seem, I'm not pronouncing that word, but it basically means to go along with periods of accelerating earnings growth, page 32. Some of the most attractive opportunities occur in beaten down forgotten stocks, which perhaps after years of losses are returning to profitability, page 32. During such periods of rapid share appreciation, stock prices can reach lofty P/E ratios. This shouldn't necessarily deter anyone or one from continuing to hold the stock, page 32. As the chart shows, which I didn't get it in the book, I didn't take a picture and put it on the notes, but it is on page 36, so that's why it's so useful to have the page numbers right after these pieces of information I found in the book. So just check out page 36 if you're following along. And as the chart shows, a 21% annual return gets you there in about 25 years, which was the average 100-bagger in my study. Our analysis suggests that they're estimated to pay relative to the input costs required to provide the good. It's a measure of value added to the customer, page 127. It seems to me a book on 100 baggers must be like this because much of the hunt is qualitative, not driven by any formula, page 130. And hence why, guys, I have a strong emphasis in my analysis of company. Remember, there's two things, qualitative and quantitative analysis. Those two things are the main different things that you look at when you're analyzing a company. It's why I focus a lot on qualitatives, because that is what usually is going to give me a signal of outsized returns, and it's what the market can't really easily see. It's like, what do I know that the market doesn't know? Is it priced in already? And so a lot of that times it's the qualitative things that are not priced in, or that people don't clearly price in the company right because of all the qualitative things that are not driven by any formula. By the way, that was on page 130. Extraordinary performance comes only from correct to non-consensus forecast, which means you have to be going against the current, a lot of times. And the current needs to be wrong, hopefully. So page 144, that was on page 144. Never invest in any idea you can't illustrate with a crayon. Peter Lynch, page 146, which leads to a hyper change. This Galley's little idea of paperback, or like paper napkin math, or back of the napkin math is what he calls it, yeah. I was going to say paperback. What is that? Okay. So when a company issues a bunch of new shares to raise money to cover losses or pay back debt, it's like adding water to your beer and sharing it, page 157. But for example, CleanSpark, they have this little thing where they will dilute shareholders only when they have like a good reason for it, which means they're going to provide more value than what they actually dilute. So I don't know how to like really show you that, but some companies, they do that. They dilute it way less and provide way more value. And so yeah, that's okay. So start with acorns, wind up with oak trees. Start with oak trees and you won't have quite the same dramatic growth, page 181, which just talks about the importance of getting in early, investing before everyone else really. So even the fastest 100 baggers in our study needed about 5 years to get there. A more likely journey will take 20 to 25 years, page 182. So if you're looking for outsized returns, you're most likely not going to do it, and else you're holding the company for 5 years plus. So yeah, I urge you to find some way to leave your stocks alone. Let them ripen on the vines. Don't pick them too early, page 183. I'm also a gardener, so I understand that as well. So those are things that I have in there. There's way more valuable information in the actual book. It's why you need to read the book. But I could not fit it all in these notes because, like I said, it already took me a long time to annotate it. Like you saw on like the pictures, I annotated a lot of stuff in the book. Then I put it all in here along with the page number of it. And then, so yeah, that took me a long time. And I finally am getting to making a video on it. At first I wasn't. So I'm happy I'm doing it. And hopefully you are happy about it. If you found this useful, thank you so much. And make sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, follow me on YouTube and all of that. And with that being said, let's get to the outro.